Spirituality 360. Today, we're exploring a really fascinating idea, one that's hidden right inside our own biology. We're diving deep into our genetic code to explore a pretty profound question. What if our DNA isn't just a biological blueprint? What if it's actually a living bridge, connecting the physical world of matter with the unseen world of consciousness? To even begin to wrap our heads around that, we first have to look at what science already knows about our DNA, and, believe it or not, the incredible puzzle it accidentally stumbled upon. So let's rewind a bit. It all really kicks off back in 1953. The discovery of the double helix was monumental. For the very first time, we could actually see this golden thread of life, that elegant spiral that carries all the instructions for building a human being. It was like we finally started to read our own source code. But here's the thing, this incredible discovery led to an even bigger puzzle. As scientists started mapping out the whole human genome, they found that only about 2%, a tiny little sliver, of our DNA actually codes for proteins, the building blocks of our bodies. The other 98%? Well, for decades, it was literally dismissed and labeled junk DNA. But what if it's not junk at all? And this is where the story gets really interesting. More and more, modern research is starting to think that this so-called junk DNA might actually be an incredibly subtle regulatory network. A network that can interact with our environment, our emotions, and even our consciousness. The whole field of epigenetics, pioneered by biologists like Dr. Bruce Lipton, has completely changed the game. It shows us that our DNA isn't some fixed destiny written in stone. It's more like our consciousness is in a constant conversation with our genes. A new belief, a powerful emotion, these can send totally different signals to ourselves, influencing which genes get turned on or off, all without ever changing the code itself. So this just blows the doors wide open on what DNA's full potential could be, right? On one hand, you have scientists at NASA exploring its insane capacity for data storage. And then, in more spiritual circles, you have thinkers like Gregg Braden proposing that it could even act like a kind of antenna for information. Now, these ideas are very different, for sure, but they both point to the same conclusion. There's way more going on with our genetic code than we currently understand. So what if beyond being a chemical code, our DNA also responds to a language of light, of frequency, of pure information? This is that amazing point where modern scientific questions start to sound a lot like ancient wisdom. And that's because for thousands of years, way before we had microscopes, sages and mystics held a totally different and much more expansive view of our inner blueprint. You find this idea in so many ancient traditions, from the Vedic to the Egyptian. They all talked about a time when humans had 12 active strands of DNA. In this vision, the first 2 strands support our biological life, the ones we know today. But the other 10 were said to be vibrational, subtle, and multidimensional, linked to higher states of awareness. Now, it is absolutely crucial to be clear on what this means. We are not talking about discovering 10 new physical strands in our cells. Instead, you can think of the dormant strands as this really powerful metaphor, a symbol for the vast, unexplored levels of consciousness that lie waiting within us. Okay, so if these potentials are dormant, how in the world do we awaken them? Well, ancient wisdom suggests a key, and that key is sound. We can actually see a modern reflection of this ancient knowledge in the field of cymatics. This is the study of how sound affects matter. It's amazing. When you vibrate a surface that's covered in particles or liquid with a pure frequency, it doesn't create chaos, it creates order, often in the form of these beautiful, sacred geometric patterns. Vibration literally organizes matter. So if sound can organize matter, what does that mean for us? Well, our bodies are over 70% water. That makes us highly receptive to vibration, much like the particles in those cymatic experiments. And this leads to a really fascinating idea. The theory suggests that when a specific frequency, like 963 Hertz, is introduced through sound, it creates harmonic patterns in the water of our cells. The DNA, suspended in that water, is thought to respond, to remember its original, more complete blueprint. So you see, this isn't just a theory to be learned. It's an invitation to experience an inner rebirth. It's about a gradual, conscious return to the source of who you are. Ultimately, this whole process is about remembering. It's about moving beyond a fragmented sense of self and recalling our true nature. As the source material puts it so beautifully, we are each a fragment of the divine, remembering its own wholeness. So we'll leave you with this final thought to carry with you. Beyond the science, beyond the metaphor, what dormant gifts, what forgotten memories, what expanded states of consciousness are waiting to awaken within you? Now, it's time for our video.
Hello and welcome to Spirituality 360, the 10 dormant strands of your DNA, a map to total awakening. What if what you believe is your DNA is only a tiny fraction of an infinite potential sleeping within you? What if this potential is waiting for just one thing, for you to remember? Mysterious, mystical. Today we explore the 10 dormant strands of your multi-dimensional DNA, what no one speaks of, yet holds the keys to your return to divine origin. DNA is not only biological, it is cosmic. What you were taught in school is partly true. 2 strands code your physical body. But beyond matter, esoteric traditions speak of 10 additional strands, not visible under a microscope, but perceivable through expanded consciousness. They are not made of molecules, but of frequency, memory, and light. They are like cosmic antennas, waiting to be awakened by your presence. Mysterious, mystical. Each one is a doorway to a forgotten dimension of your being. Here is what each reveals when you're ready to activate it. Strand 3. Telepathy. You enter heart-to-heart connection beyond words. You feel, you sense, you understand the invisible. This is the language of the body, without filters, without lies. Strand 4. Multidimensional communication. You become sensitive to guides, to presences from other densities, to messages within dreams. Synchronicities multiply. You become a bridge between worlds. Strand 5. Conscious energy manipulation. Energy is no longer abstract. You feel it. You direct it. Healing, protection, creation, all arise from your vibration. You become the alchemist of your reality field. Strand 6. Etheric vision. You perceive subtle fields, thought forms, Akashic records around beings and places. You no longer live in the illusion of the visible. You live life beyond the veils. Strand 7. Fusion of polarities. You transcend duality. You meet your cosmic twin, the one who embraces both poles within you without rejection. This is the return to living unity. Strand 8. Mastery of Time. You step out of linearity. You feel that all is simultaneous. You navigate your possible futures, receiving messages from your future self. You enter interdimensional navigation. Strand 9. Vibrational sovereignty. Fears, egregores, external influences no longer pass through you. You are master of your field. You vibrate so high that nothing dissonant can reach you. Strand 10. Source language. You understand galactic codes, sacred symbols, the mathematics of light, frequencies, sounds. Everything speaks to you beyond words. Strand 11. Divine creative genius. You become a conscious creator of your reality. Everything becomes fluid, holographic, quantum. You actively participate in reprogramming your experience. Strand 12. Union with the original self. You are no longer a hand searching for light. You are light incarnate, fully reconnected to the living divine matrix. This is the return to your original frequency. But this is not the end. There is a Strand 13, the strand of ultimate fusion. It does not separate the chosen from the rest. It awakens when all strands dance in harmony. You are no longer a fragment. You become the conscious all, embodied in a human form. Every activation is a memory. Every memory is a power. And every power a service to humanity. You have just rediscovered what your DNA has held in secret. This is not a theory. It is a vibrational invitation. If you feel the call to activate these strands, subscribe. Each video in this series is a practical key to awakening. And if your heart says yes, then your consciousness is already reawakening them. Welcome to the true revolution, the rediscovery of your cosmic DNA. Next step, Strand 3, activation of human telepathy. Your mission, if you choose to accept it. Like, comment, and share with those who vibrate like you. Subscribe to Spirituality 360. Hit the bell to never miss an awakening. And above all, remember, what you awaken within yourself, you awaken for all of humanity. By activating your cosmic DNA, you become a living pillar of the new world. Tell me in the comments which of these strands is calling you the most, and I'll see you very soon to activate the next one, together vibrationally.